music could be it can seem quite like confrontational. It's quite like intense and stuff like that, but I mean, I hope that people don't sort of see it and feel intimidated by that in a way, because I'm not kind of trying to confront an audience so much. It's more about like confronting other things. Hopefully an audience would feel like they're on my side when they're watching me, you know, rather than like I'm trying to attack them.
Alastair Shuttleworth. Although in my time as head of UBTV Music we featured a clutch of particularly special national artists, including perhaps the first ever real in-depth video interview with influential and highly controversial satirist Ben the Rebel Wallace of the Country Teasers.
If I was put on trial for what I've sung, that would be my defence, you know, that I'm kind of conveying something bad.
It has been our principal, sacred duty to document through this humble series of videos the eclectic and exciting, tight-knit community of artists to form in Bristol in the past several years, a dramatic and impossibly rich moment in underground music that is largely, inexplicably overlooked by the mainstream music press. Our 10th volume features one of the city's most fiercely experimental new artists, and a disciple of Bristol's avant-garde electronic music clique, the Young Echo Collective, filmed here playing in an art gallery for Howling Records' New Year, New Noise Festival. Watch, absorb, and be enlightened. This is Silver Waves.
So I was in this band called Francis Fear, like quite a while ago now, and we started when we all went to school together, and it was fun, and like we learnt a lot from it, I think, but it got to the point where like sort of we all had kind of different interests, like musically, and sort of like commitments about what we wanted to do after school. I got, like, when we were playing in that band, I got really interested in sort of like playing with pedals and stuff like that, like sort of using a lot of effects on my guitar. And yeah, so after we split up, I was just like, I'm just gonna like sort of like make lots of like funny noises with pedals and stuff like that. Turned into this EP, like 2 long tracks, which made an EP called EP1. And that was about the same sort of time that I was like sort of starting to go to a lot of shows in Bristol, starting to like see the Naturals a lot and the Howling a lot and all that. Sent it to Joe and Adrian when it was finished, and they were like interested in putting it out, so then it just kind of sort of stemmed from there. I don't sort of personally try and draw, or at least in a conscious way, from like a sort of a heritage of like electronic music outside of Bristol. It's more because I don't listen to a lot of electronic music and stuff really. I make quite beat-based music, but it's not sort of something I really consider to be dance music. The other stuff that's going on in Bristol has been a lot more kind of inspiring and exciting to me, and been a lot more sort of has shaped what I do a lot more than kind of like stuff that's going on in Berlin or whatever, or London, you know, like, because all that stuff's great, but it's just not what has been immediately in front of me. But yeah, I don't think it's like the most like groundbreaking music ever or whatever, but it's like but yeah, I guess I'm just not really trying to sort of like emulate anyone. That's what I see a lot of in Bristol, is people just trying to do their own thing, and people are able to kind of play shows alongside other people from the city who kind of make quite different music to them sonically, but there's like a sort of common thread of attitude, you know? And I think that's a lot more important than sort of like trying to make stuff that sounds the same.
Benefit of people watching this that might not be from Bristol or anything, like would you kind of mind like explaining sort of the collective?
They're basically just like a collective of creatives from Bristol, I suppose, and they put on nights at the Exchange and at the Island and stuff, and they used to put on a radio show. They've got people like Vessel, who's doing more sort of bass heavy, like sort of techno influenced stuff, Aishan and like Ossia doing sort of maybe more dub influence kind of things, but it all kind of comes together, and they can sort of fit alongside each other and have all these collaborations within their collective because they've got this kind of common thread of their attitude about music. Equipment wise, like I've got like sort of a sampler, which is quite important, like, you know, sort of run a lot of stuff through that, but then try and like have like that delay pedal that I have, which I'm running a lot of stuff through, and sort of like can play with stuff like that and improvise, make things a little bit more free and on the fly, than have it like really sort of I guess regimented in the way that kind of like producing music can be. I didn't want to sort of like be DJing, you know, as a live thing, absolutely. Which I think is like what a lot of people who produce tunes do for that sort of live thing. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, DJs could be fantastic, but like that's just not the sort of background that I'm from.
It's easy for me to kind of imagine people coming to see you live, being like really kind of like impressed and wanting to do like a similar thing. Like would you like to see more people making music like yours?
I don't know. I mean, if people want to, then sure. But like, you know, I'm not really sort of doing it to try and kind of
like influence.
Anything like that. I mean, really, it's like something that I'm doing for myself, and I'm just trying to make music that I like. If other people kind of sort of do get sort of a little bit inspired by it maybe or something, then I think that's great, you know, that's really cool. But that's not like something I've ever kind of explicitly like had in my mind that I'm trying to achieve. I wouldn't be making the music that I'm making if I hadn't listened to all the stuff that I've listened to like throughout the course of my life. You know, it's all fed into it, and if I can be part of that for someone else, then I think that's really cool. You know, but I'm not trying to do that.
Like people to kind of like take away from what's currently happening in Bristol?
I think what it would be maybe most important for other people to know about Bristol is that the music scene in Bristol doesn't seem to be driven by any kind of craving for sort of recognition from outside parties. People do it because they want to, and I think that's really important. And there's a real community in Bristol that like, as I've said before, like isn't driven by people making like the same sort of music as other people. It's about attitude and about the way people conduct themselves within their music, and that I feel like is a lot more important and a lot more powerful and than everyone making drum and bass, for example, or whatever. Yeah. It's like me and Oliver Wilde and you guys and like and whoever else, you know, can all collaborate and kind of like work with each other on things and fit within the same scene because we all really like music and really care about it and really enjoy making it. The best thing about Bristol that I'm kind of aware of is it feels like sort of family and community rather than scene and kind of genre, you know, and I think that's a lot more exciting. It's a lot more like inclusive and welcoming, as far as I can tell, for people who want to make music in Bristol. I think that's what I should kind of know about it, is people do things because they care about them here.